Dresden, one of Saxony's most important cultural centers. Here, during the 17th century, the splendor-loving count and patron of the arts, August the Strong, had one of his two residences extended using Versailles as a model. One of the Baroque outer wards was the picture gallery designed by Gottfried Semper, where the old 18th century Italian, Dutch, and German masters are exhibited. Safeguarding this state art collection against fire requires a fire protection concept that leaves the valuable paintings undamaged. Inergen, our extinguishing agent derived from the air we breathe, fulfills this demand. Totalwalter fitted an Inergen fire extinguishing installation in the two picture depositories in the gallery's basement. In order to detect possible leakage in the picture depositories to be protected, we conducted a fan test prior to flooding the rooms with Inergen. For this, all ventilation flaps were shut to create identical conditions to when the fire protection installation is triggered. A fan was used to generate the various air volumes and room pressures. From the test data collected, the leakage points in the room can be identified precisely. A calculated stay-down time of at least 91 minutes of oxygen concentration lower than 13.8% by volume is derived. The depository rooms to be protected can therefore be assumed very airtight. To prevent excess pressure, the automatic pressure relief will open at approximately 1 millibar. Pressure relief in this example consists of size 300 boreholes shut by a weighted rotary lock. Pressure relief is achieved through the light well to the outside. Monday, September 25, 1995. Working with representatives from Dresden State Art Collections, the State Building Surveyor's Office, Dresden Fire Brigade, and the Property Insurance Association, final preparations for the flooding test are underway. Selection and arrangement of the relevant test objects and the location of all detectors were agreed with the head of restoration. Fabric samples placed in the so-called silk corner are to indicate what influence the fire extinguishing agent has on the color pigments. Twelve metering points located at different heights were used to collect data on oxygen and CO2 concentrations. Temperatures of the ambient air, of the materials of the paintings and frames, pressures in the room and at the last nozzle were immediately evaluated by the computer and the measuring data plotted on the display. An Inergen fire protection installation with 98 cylinders was installed, equivalent to an available quantity of 1,800 kilograms. When a signal from at least 2 smoke detectors is received by the Fire Alarm System Control Unit, the appropriate sector valves open and the Inergen fire protection installation is triggered.
Ja, wenn Sie dann soweit sind, dann schlage ich vor starten, ne?
A paraffin flame is to show the effect on open fires. Measuring data collection starts before the test is carried out. In the depository, 2 of the smoke detectors are then activated by a smoke gas tube. Immediately following this, the alarm signal is received by the Fire Alarm System Control Unit, which triggers the alarm hooters and activates the fire extinguishing system. Simultaneously with the acoustic alarm, all open doors are automatically closed prior to the release of the Inergen fire extinguishing gas. Inergen reaches the extinguishing sector via 2 sector valves. At their own request, and to prove that the Inergen fire extinguishing gas is harmless, the head of the State Surveyor's Office, a representative from Dresden Fire Brigade, and 2 staff members from Dresden museums remain in the flooded rooms of the depository during the 20-minute stay-down time. This shows the effect of the extinguishing gas on the paintings upon release again. Because of their very low height, most of the artworks are paper mock-ups, the paintings vibrate at the depository frames. Paintings with a solid frame show this effect to a much lesser degree. This is the flooding phase in the silk corner. Because of a different arrangement of the nozzles, the influence of Inergen being released is much less pronounced. The reduction of the oxygen content with increasing CO2 concentration is clearly shown on the display. After just 1 minute, the paraffin flame is extinguished. It only takes 2 minutes to reach an effective concentration of an oxygen content of 13.8% by volume. People inside the flooded depository room show no signs of suffering any ill effects. Approximately 5.5 minutes after starting the flooding, the measured values have reached their target value. The CO2 content has stabilized at 3.8% by volume and the oxygen content at 11% by volume. The effective fire extinguishing concentration is maintained throughout the entire 20-minute duration of the test. During this time, participants watch the readings change in the Inergen central unit. Humidity and temperature of the ambient air and at the picture frames change only minimally and thus have no detrimental effect on the valuable paintings. After the proven stay-down time of the effective concentration, many people use the opportunity to enter the flooded depository rooms. Even an attempt to ignite a full box of matches failed due to the reduced oxygen concentration. Then officials watched a video recording of Inergen flooding the picture depositories. Inergen, for the protection of artifacts.